Commander, Udina updated me on your meeting with the Council. Sounds like they're running scared.
The Council's been a pain in my ass from day one. I'm done with them.
Then what's your plan?
I'm trying to get the Turian Primarch for a summit meeting with the Asari and Solarians. I'll bypass the Council and appeal directly to their leadership.
That's good, I like it. This is where we start laying the groundwork for our counterattack.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Arbitration Studios as we continue our epic across the whole damn thing of the Mass Effect series with Mass Effect 3. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And, you think some shit's about to start? Because, the Turians here clearly did not get the memo from that gunnery, officer who'd shoot everyone out in the Citadel. Because that is a lot of projectiles flying towards a planet behind the Reapers.
Right? Absolutely.
Causing as much damage to our home planet as the Reapers are.
I mean, they're going to glass that planet. That's all I'm saying. One of the maybe things that I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit, just a little bit, would be individual Reapers. And it didn't need to be like this whole, like, hey, we can bringing down one of the Reapers being brought down by conventional fire, because it happens, right?
Yeah.
It can happen. It does happen. That if those things were impossible to bring down, that the we wouldn't have even stayed alive long enough to get.
Yeah.
So it's possible, and it would have been nice to just show one time where, like, they lose 12 dreadnoughts, but they bring down one of them.
Yeah. And we do see that in the finale of the game, where, frankly, depending on your war assets, you're kind of holding your own. I mean, it's a battle of attrition, and the Reapers are going to win, but that bar is very slowly depleting.
Yeah.
So, hey, combat airdrop, let's do it. I have no idea why the machine gun we get to deploy later isn't erected, but that's a question for later. My justification is that we hadn't equipped it yet. That was installed after the Citadel.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think about it and I'm like, we pick it up here. Because there's so much stuff laying around because it's a war and people die and they drop their weapons and we're like, hey, let's grab
them.
Well,
and frankly, in war, there are situations where like right now we are piloting a stock shuttle.
Yep.
But how much equipment stays in its stock configuration by the end of the war?
None
of it.
Yeah, no. I would like to let you know that even not during wartime, our war equipment becomes very jerry-rigged and very not necessarily by the TO, but they work. So first time playthrough. Going back to my thoughts, first time playing through this. My thoughts were very much a kind of like, wow, this is a lot bigger scale than you had done as a character in the past. Like, they'd always say, depending upon who you picked, your shepherd was a soldier. And then he's a soldier. But you always did kind of individual, like, wet work, really. A lot of wet work is what you were doing. You weren't doing a lot of soldiering. In this case, you're doing some soldiering
in a battlefield.
You're going out into battlefields. You're going out into war-ish situations, combat situations, and for me, anyways, it did the first time I played through it. It was a little overwhelming, and I didn't do so well because I didn't know what I was supposed to be paying attention to.
Yep.
However, upon further playthroughs, I do very well.
Now this is an element where I gotta criticize the Turian military, and I realize that it was very much set up to be this way. Where the Turian military, despite being the largest and most advanced military in the world, from an analysis on warfare on Earth would be stuck in a World War One mentality. They never developed the idea of a war of maneuver.
Yeah.
I think I mean they're fighting from freaking trench lines, in fixed outposts and fortifications.
I kind of agree with you, but I kind of also think that when your enemy is essentially,
A building.
a building, but also the enemy's troops are Zerg. I mean, they are zombies who rush at you. Now, some of them can shoot, some of them can do sorts of things, but for the most part, they are monsters who are being herded at you. Fixed positions work for that. Maneuverability,
Except that those beasts that are being driven towards you are backed up by Iowa battleships launching 9-inch shells at you.
yeah, no, you get and for the game, they didn't want to show them taking out those Iowa battleships, which
because the Reapers are supposed to be a force of nature,
exactly
not
a thing that you can combat, even though we do feed one to a worm. But that's later on, folks, for a 10-year-old game. Sorry.
I've always been kind of.
We don't believe in spoiler culture here.
Yeah. The anti-spoiler crowd bugs me. Like, I get it for to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's like there's got to be a statute of limitations, and for me, the statute of limitations is 2 weeks.
You know when the statute of limitations is for me? When the first walkthrough comes out.
Like, that's minutes.
Yeah, when you can go online and find the walkthrough for the game, and that'll tell you how to solve every single problem, every single puzzle, whatever have you. Then I'm like, I don't feel so bad.
And
I tell
fisting.
You. Oh gosh, that was actually kind of sexy right there. I kind of like that.
And that is why I swapped to Vanguard. The Vanguard playstyle just does not exist in Mass Effect 1, not like this. And then in Mass Effect 2, because of how the levels and the maps are set up in Mass Effect 2 to kind of go against the Vanguard playstyle that they introduced, and they didn't have the power punch in Mass Effect 2. So that's kind of like why I'm dismissive of it. It only works in 3 and Andromeda.
So now we finally can be the Agatha Fisty that we've always wanted to be.
Why were we a soldier in Mass Effect 1? Because I am convinced to this day, and frankly, my attitude has kind of lightened up once I learned how to deploy the biotic powers.
Yeah.
But really, I'm still not convinced that when you can just get a end game tier literal infinite machine gun at the halfway point of the game of Mass Effect 1 that can just mow everything down.
Yeah.
That there's really no incentive structure to play anything but a soldier, particularly in Mass Effect 1. Now
no argument.
Now in 2 and 3, you've got the plethora.
Yeah.
And they all work to greater or lesser extent, and a lot of it depends on you as a player and your skill set and your understanding of the systems. But I've like never understood the argument that like biotics are stupid OP broken in Mass Effect 1 because but
not really. I feel like sometimes games are written with a very specific class in mind. And that you can play the other classes if you want, but the game is written to be this one. And I feel like with the case of Mass Effect 1, it was very much written with the idea that you were going to be a soldier, that you were going to be a straight, kind of thing. You have multiple companions that can do the tech stuff. You have multiple companions that can do biotic stuff. And so to me, I'm like, that was the
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and really, it's either they're supporting you or you're supporting them, depending on how you want to look at it. Because and we'll talk more about multiplayer in its own video.
Right.
But with multiplayer, yeah, the soldier class is actually really weak in comparison to others, particularly at the harder difficulties. But I'll tell you what. Everyone was glad to have one there.
Yeah.
Because it was just that handy. So, moving along, we've repaired the...
What have you got?
we've... we shored up a defensive line while he figured out who the hell we're supposed to get, because the first president of the Turian states... oops. The first president was gone. And so he has the next one, and the person who's going to take us to him is this guy.
Best friends.
That is our boy right there.
The reason why I didn't think about that is because Best Friends broke up, and it broke my heart.
I did. Broke my heart, too. That was such a fantastic gimmick. You gotta give the people what they want.
Yep.
And what they want is...
What they want is Orange Cassidy to become AEW World Champion in, next week?
That's right.
As of the time of recording.
Because he's Orange Cassidy, and he
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
a catchphrase.
However...
I'm gonna be editing the Best Friends theme into this now. So.
This is Garrus
Motherfucking
Vicarian, and he does have a catchphrase. He's going to be calibrating the gun.
Yep. he is the calibrated gun.
Indeed. And now we are at least semi complete.
Yep.
That we have the first part of our best friend squad. Honestly, what can you say about Garrus?
Started off as the young hothead renegade cop and grew to be our protege, our second in command, our most trusted advisor, the guy who we could open up to.
Our best friend. I mean, this is our brother in arms. This is our guy. Mm-hmm. And I always feel like the party, I wish we could have one more party member, that we could have, 4 total instead of 3 total.
Just so we could have
Garrus
tally.
Yep. Just so, yeah. And really, it would just be, there would be one slot always for Garrus. I think that he is and he has some great interactions with other characters.
And even some of whoever was responsible for writing Garrus throughout this trilogy really loved that character, because even some of the little quips, like when he takes down a character and he's using a sniper rifle, you'll hear him say, "I love this gun."
Yeah. No, they do a really good job, I feel like. Did we send Liara or Vega back?
No, Liara always goes back.
Okay.
This is the part we send one of them up to the communications tower.
Yes.
And I sent Liara because Vega fixing things. Vega's a grunt. He doesn't fix things. He breaks things.
No. I can imagine Vega being very, very good at percussive maintenance and not much else.
Really, though, I think that when it comes to basic repairs, like rebooting the a communications array, that he would be fine.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone. Modern warfare is you're damn near a computer tech with a gun.
So and here we're at the airfield, protecting the airfield.
The first appearance of the huskified Turians.
Indeed.
The Marauders. They have shields, and they can impart a sort of ossified armor plate onto nearby allies, which is an interesting little ability that I would not have thought to do.
No.
It's easy to think of like passing their shields onto other huskified critters, but not necessarily to say, "Hey, I'm just going to armor these guys with what amounts to terrain, so that way their hitboxes get smaller."
Yep. I think that they definitely add a interesting degree of difficulty to the game. Here we have,
In business terms, it's a value add. Now we're playing on normal difficulty because, well,
yeah,
we're old and we're not here to show off our skills. We're here to talk about the story.
exactly. And there you had the snub fighters, which, by the way, are stupid in space, but they're cool. Like, look, folks, sometimes things are done in sci-fi not because they are smart or make sense, but because they are, in fact, cool.
I will say this, that in terms of their design and their ability, and how that imparts an ability to move in space, that the Turian fighters are actually pretty smartly designed.
No, their design is great. It's just the concept of snub fighters in space is in and of itself ludicrous. But cool.
I also think that we need to adapt that. The concept of manned fighter craft in space. The Oculus drones that the Reapers deployed, that's how you deploy fighters.
Yeah. I mean, sure. This is... I love these. Honestly, I
think you're literally the only Mass Effect fan who says that they love the turret sections.
I love the turret sections. I love turret sections in any game. I don't know.
We're just gonna turn the brain off and we're just going to.
Yep, I'm just gonna pull the trigger.
Engage in casual murder.
Exactly. These are the things that I mean. I like these things. When I come across it and I didn't expect it. It makes me even happier. Where I'm like, oh, I get to use a turret on people charging me. I enjoy that.
And you know, there are a well-designed turret section can break up gameplay and allow for character developing moments, especially in a game about war like this one.
Mm-hmm.
A poorly designed turret section would be, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dead Space.
Not in the least bit.
There's a Dead Space video that Mrs. Arbiter and I did, and I will make sure it's linked in this. But the thing about Dead Space has this turret section in the middle because asteroid debris just starts flying towards the ship that you're on, and you have to manually target it with with cannons that are designed strictly to do it. It serves no purpose to the greater narrative. It's just, oh hey, here's another thing on this semi-derelict ship that we have to deal with in order to live. And when Dead Space was remade, they improved it to a certain extent. It was still kind of infuriating, but it wasn't, oh my god, why am I here sort of stuff.
The turret sections that you can do on this and later on in the game.
And yes, I do have to shoot the Reaper in the butt.
Totally understandable. Or I find them, the only one that kind of bothers me is later on with the with Tally, and later on in the game saving one of the admirals. That I find a little bit tedious and tiresome, but for the most part, I like.
At the same time, though, it served a narrative purpose.
Yes, yeah, no, they do serve in Mass Effect. Except for there are a couple of times where they're just there for fun, and you don't really need to use them.
Later on, Rannoch, there's a section where you're in a ground vehicle, a Geth ground vehicle, maneuvering away from a Reaper, and you are in a machine gun turret, and you can fire the machine gun turret at the Reaper for fuck all it's got to do.
Yep.
That did not need to be a turret section.
No. Yep.
That should have just been a full cutscene and been done.
Yep. Nope.
And we'll criticize that when that time comes later.
Yes.
And I'll say the exact same thing.
Yep. No. I get you. I totally do. Visually stunning. To me, still holds up visually. The matte painting, not necessarily the character, but the background. I think the Reapers in the Horizon, the burning planet, the dreadnoughts getting mauled. Yeah, no, visually just a stunning game.
I was like, that's a lot of firepower, and it ain't doing a whole hell of a lot.
No, well, that's what happens when you're using technology that they, you've gone along their technological tract.
Again, they had the Reapers had the cheat code.
Yep. It had and really, I think one of the reasons that humanity is always so bothersome to the Reapers is that humanity takes the technology that they say, okay, go along this track, and we're like, no, we want to do this with it, and they're like, wait, what? What do you mean you want to do that with it?
I fall back to Star Trek Deep Space Nine and the space mining of the Bajoran wormhole that literally did nothing but take 4 different technologies.
Yeah.
That in and of themselves are fairly mundane. The most exotic piece were the cloaking devices, and even that was questionably necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And use that to mine the wormhole, and have that be, it was just putting 4 mundane things together: high explosives, cloaking devices, replicators, and spaceships.
Look, the ingenuity of humans to come up with things to kill people and things can never, ever be underestimated.
Look, as long as there is another living thing in the galaxy, there is going to be a human being who wants to kill it.
Exactly. And
never underestimate the power of human hatred.
Oh, never.
Especially towards other humans.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're terrible.
We are. Realistically, we would totally be destroying Mass Effect relays if it meant killing Reapers. like that would totally. We wouldn't even think about that. Like that would be an absolute thing that humans would. Wait a minute. That works? Yes. Done deal. You want to talk about, we would be throwing asteroids at them. We would be wrapping asteroids in Mass Effect fields and launching them. And they would be going, we had not thought to do that.
Well, that's the whole thing about humanity and the background material for Mass Effect of Turians and Asari and Solarians would always fortify their outposts and their colonies to try and make them as impregnable as possible. And humanity, partly because we didn't have the numbers for that, but also because that's a whole lot of resources to go to something that will just take for freaking ever. So our colonies and outposts instead are smaller, more scattered. We're not building megapolises, we're building farms.
Yeah.
And then what's the military garrison like? It is a surveillance outpost because rapid reaction and war of maneuver works.
Yeah. No, and we come in and just start running around and annihilating the enemy forces and
can't be pinned down.
And that's the humanity is just like you said, never doubt humanity's capabilities and want to fist
so you want to see something embarrassing?
People they don't like. Oh, always.
All right. Well, we're gonna do something. You'll know when you see it. Again, to throw a little thing at or a little shout out to Prime Radiancy when they were finishing up Mass Effect 2, and they were like, "All right, I got a full charge on the cane. Get ready for this. Let's close this one out." And then he fucking missed. So if I recall right from my recordings, it's similar to that right here. Point. Yep, I missed by hitting the body in front of me.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but, it's recoverable.
I mean, yeah, it was just embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate and respect you leaving it in.
Yeah, I hate to say it because I don't want to bring real world into it. I almost don't want to watch that guy's playthrough of Mass Effect 3, given what actually happened.
Mm.
It's like suddenly it's not fun.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple of years, you know.
Yeah, maybe. I like our playthrough.
Yep.
Because we're two goofy middle-aged guys, who are, who are ostensibly adults with adult jobs and adult money and adult lives.
We're married and we have kids and responsibilities.
We do.
And we're talking about Vigima games.
Exactly.
So, anyway, Adrian Victus, the general turned Primarch of the Turian hierarchy, as he just finds out, and is like, oh shit.
I feel like this is what would have happened if General Mattis had ever ended up actually being president. You'd have been like, no, thank you. What is
what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Like, I am not interested in that nonsense whatsoever. Which, by the way, makes him the absolute perfect person for the job. Cannot express enough my firm and solid belief that when it comes to a high level leadership job, the best person for it
is the one
who has no interest in doing it.
Or the person who, and to ape a line we're going to be hearing later on, the person who who doesn't want it, but also realizes they're the only one who can do it.
Yeah. That, by the way, the caveat to the best person to do the job is the one who doesn't want it. The one who can do it that doesn't want it. Because if you can't do it and you don't want it, you shouldn't be doing it.
Barring no other choice.
Yeah. Like, nobody should ever put me in charge of anything. Ever.
Yeah, the Air Force found that out eventually.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a terrible idea to have me in charge of anything. And I don't want to be in charge.
I know Kevin Spacey is taboo because it turns out he was a bit of a monster, but I fall back on that line from American Beauty when he walks up and when he was just grabbing lunch, he's like, "Hey, do you have an application at the drive-through, the not McDonald's?" And it's like, "That's great. I want as little responsibility as humanly possible." Yeah, and apparently so did Kevin Spacey.
I mean, yes. There are some times where, as an actor, I have to chime in with, yes, the performer is trash, but the performer didn't write those lines.
Yeah.
The author did. And sometimes the author is trash.
Absolutely. I do like to fall back on the idea that anyone who's a creative individual is already kind of a terrible person.
Yes, we are. No lie. We are absolute trash.
We all know Casey Hudson has some skeletons in his closet.
Fact. But okay, so we have first off, we got the Turian that we wanted, which was Garrus, and second, we got the
Turian we needed.
The Turian we needed, which is, I mean, we needed both of them. Honestly, we need Garrus for this. At this point, could you actually imagine if they had left Garrus out of this game, or had a Garrus not be a companion? People would riot.
See, here's the thing, Counselor. The reason why your efforts have always failed is that you had a goal of, quote, maintaining the status quo. Your inability to get the Turians, the Krogan, and the Solarians to actually work together is the fact that you didn't want the Krogan to have any expansion. You wanted the Krogan to return to how they were before they were brought onto the galactic scene. That was a door that can't be closed.
No. So instead, what you should have done was look for people like Rex that have a vision beyond, and allied with them and supported them, and brought up, do what we're going to do in this game.
When you artificially uplift a species, you're responsible for integrating that species into a galactic community. To try and shove them back in their hole after they've served their purpose, that's why the Krogan Rebellion started.
Yep.
Because, the Krogan started finding their own way and doing it in the way that their culture dictated.
Yep. And, it's as much as I love Krogan, and I do, it really is not as much a joke as people think it is. The Krogan really do seem to be, in a lot of cases, the most reasonable of the alien races that humans interact with.
They just get pushed to that unreasonable side very, very quickly.
Right. And when I'm saying the Krogan, I'm not talking about the Krogan that we have to shoot. I'm talking about the Krogan that we interact with. Mm-hmm. They are typically much more down to earth. They are typically much more like they're a species that want to be doing something instead of doing nothing, which is very human, which is very online.
And that's something we actually see a lot more in Andromeda.
Yes.
Because there are Krogan who are trying to build something.
Yes, and we definitely see the Krogan, I think, in a different light when you watch Andromeda. I think you see the Krogan as I see the Krogan. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are a young, violent species, but that doesn't mean that they are like just animals. That doesn't mean that they are locked into that.
And the problem is that the galaxy treated them like animals.
Exactly. And that's why I think they get along with humans so well, because humans are like, we're going to treat you the way that you treat us, the way that you behave towards us.
So, the Krogan are a species of action. We can dig it.
Yeah,
there's times that we got to say settle down, and there are times that we say settle down by fisting you.
Yeah, and the headbutt thing, we get that. Like that's your culture. Like
because how often a common trope is I want to shoot him, or I want to punch him in the face, or I want to kill him.
Yeah,
because someone pisses us off that much.
Yeah,
but we all have to make sacrifices today.
I think the other thing with humans, and of course, Shepard being the representation of the humans, is that humans have a much easier time interacting and including, at least humans in this universe, have a much easier time dealing with other races. There isn't the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like.
I mean, frankly, when human beings come onto the galactic scene, there are three things that are going to happen. First off, everyone's going to try and sleep with Asari.
That's a given. Yeah.
Secondly, there is going to be a Krogan liberation movement.
Yeah.
And they're going to be completely wrong-headed about it because they're going to be approaching things from a human perspective and not a Krogan perspective.
Yes. However, humans will be 100% on board with the liberation of Krogan. The issue will be at you're going to have you're going to have the misguided people who are viewing it, who want to center themselves in it, and then you'll have the people who are going to be like.
The third thing, just really quick, before we get into this part, is that Scalich is going to spread among humans like wildfire.
Fact.
Anyway.
Not a question.
So, now we got this. Edie has been suffering glitches the entire time, and that's why Liara sent up mid-mission, and now we find out why.
Oh my. Oh my. Hello.
I do love, we're going to find out a lot about Edie and how she interacts with the world, particularly through this mobile platform.
Yes.
But I do love, I'm always surprised at how people do not understand that. The relationship of the mobile platform to Edie herself. Edie never leaves the ship.
Right.
That just becomes an extension of her body and her consciousness.
It's a drone.
And it's sort of there are discussions to be had about that, but it's sort of like I remember when Mass Effect 3 was brand new and someone said, well, why couldn't you just take Edie's body offline and keep her entirely on the ship and then power that down? It's just like, because she's already there. So and powering it down was not supposed to AI is not something you can turn off and turn back on again, because that would be death.
Yeah, no. And first off, the actress, I love everything she does.
Trisha Heffer.
Yeah, Trisha Heffer. I love everything she does. I think she's sci-fi. I think she's she's in the sci-fi pantheon right now.
Mhm.
She is. I think she's been on every single sci-fi show or genre show, as you call it. I immensely enjoy her. But on top of that, I actually like Edie as a character.
Mhm.
One of the things I like about Edie as a character, as a AI, she does not come across as the naive, I'm just born AI that they go with so often
Mhm.
with AI. I don't understand anything about living people. Well, she just like gets it. There are some things she doesn't get, like dating. Okay, that no, I totally understand, because most of us who have lived our whole life as sentient beings don't understand relationships and dating. So I
There's
get
a reason
that.
why so many cultures on Earth don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally get it. But there's also this sense that like she can make jokes. She has a sense of humor. She's not this in like there's automatically this thought that AI is going to be a completely unrelatable inhuman thing
Mhm.
that just has no similar and nothing at all to be able to interact with.
Now, part of that is that Edie was developed by interacting with Joker, because her principal responsibilities supplemented Joker's talents.
Right.
So that led to the imprinting on Joker and the emulation of Joker's sensibilities. And that's kind of the thing, is that when you are raising what it in the Halo universe, this is the parlance is a smart AI,
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
AI that can develop a personality and develop
Right,
the
right, right,
ability
right.
to interact on a human level. Um, yeah, that's why you almost need to tutor them.
Yeah.
You need to bring them up. And it's not, and the fact is that it wouldn't be like raising a child. It would be like training a new employee.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think that that's the thing that a lot of times sci-fi writing and sci-fi properties kind of miss about AI,
Mm-hmm.
is that piece of AI is going to develop the way AI develops. You can't force it, but what you can do is encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is, like you said, train it. Um, and so I think that Mass Effect 3 does that really well with Edie.
Mm-hmm.
Between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, they really do that well. I think.
And the other thing about it is that AI, that Mass Effect does really well, is that AI, at the point of its conception, you're talking about creating a mind that has full adult capabilities, but no cultural context
Right.
for its encountering. So yes, it is going to be panicky. It is going to be violent. It is going to lash out and push every single boundary all at once. This is going to seem stupidly fast and incredibly dangerous because of that nature. It is spawning an adult fully formed into the universe with no context. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
for an AI like what we see in science fiction, you do have to like give it some space, keep it in an isolated system where it's not connected to everything else, and then say it's okay. You almost need a therapist
Right.
for a new sapient AI.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see in Mass Effect, we get to see it go wrong,
Mhm.
where they abuse it, and it goes wrong, and then we get to and they just jack it up, and then we get to see it go right with
Yep.
Edie. And I would argue
Mhm.
that the Geth were like, it was done wrong to begin with,
Mhm.
and they developed
Well, the Geth was a creation of an accidental intelligence.
right. Yeah.
The Geth were supposed to be dumb.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, they still are dumb, but because they are networked together and able to share processing power that way, that created that limited interactive consciousness.
Well, they developed the exact opposite of what most humans believe, which is they are, I am dumb, we are smart. Most humans believe that we are dumb and I am smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely certain which one of those is true, but I know in the case of the Geth, we are smart.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, Edie is an interesting character, and this is an enhancement to her capabilities that is a creation of a lot of great story beats.
Absolutely.
Um,
I like her as a companion,
Mhm.
but she generally doesn't fit my playstyle because my playstyle is best friends.
Yeah.
Best friends for life.
It doesn't help that one of Edie's core abilities, which is the holographic decoy, just flat doesn't work.
Yeah. I like I said, best friends for life.
Mhm.
For life. Once you get Tally, it's done. It's Tally and Garrus and me. That's how it
I do
rolls.
have a certain love of Garrus and Vega together, or
Oh,
Vega
yeah.
or Vega and Ashley.
Okay. Okay.
Because both are native assault rifle users, and when you get either the Revenant light machine gun, or there's and because we're in the Legendary Edition, we have access to it. But I didn't when I first played Mass Effect 3 because it was a DLC thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that was tied to multiplayer, and I just didn't do that. Um, it was a general purpose machine gun that was N7 branded. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Ashley and Vega with those together with their skill set. Oh, lay down that suppressive fire, baby.
Bullets for everyone. I've got bullets for everyone.
You get a bullet, and you get a bullet. Everyone gets a bullet.
You get 2 bullets because I don't like you.
So
You remind me of my ex. You get 3. But anyhow, I think that we've done a little, we've seen some of our companions here that we're going to be interacting with.
I really love the
Got
story of
Garrus.
Garrus with his dad.
Yeah.
Because I working in the business that I do, which
Yep.
is family owned, and it's my family, and my dad is runs a company right now, and so it's sort of the it's a lot of the butting heads with the older generation, but at the same time, I know the older generation is listening, sort of thing. And so when Garrus between Mass Effect 2 and 3 comes to his dad and says, "Shit, you're not gonna believe what's about to drop on our door," and the fact that Garrus's dad listened, paid attention, and pulled the levers he could to get some preparation done, and hope to God that it did something good.
Mm-hmm.
I love that little touch, especially because we made fun of this in our Mass Effect 2 playthrough. Everyone's got daddy issues.
Everybody has daddy issues.
Garrus didn't have daddy issues in his mission. It was a personal vendetta.
Right.
But yeah, the fact of the matter is that it's that Garrus's relationship with his father is one of not a full estrangement, but it is one where it is a stressful relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one where neither Garrus nor his father, who I think is unnamed.
I believe it's I believe it's.
We'll just say Daddy Vicarian is like. Dad believes in him, and Dad actually thinks that Garrus is doing good, but it's like, how do I express that?
Yeah, he's not a he's a he's a military father.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain way that men act in such societies, and they don't express
Fathering like that is best done at a distance with very little emotional interaction or support whatsoever.
Exactly, because you don't want to weaken the child. Which again, I'm saying what it is, not what I believe. You can do that. You can say what something is without saying I believe in it, without saying you agree with it. And in this case, I think
it's sort of like fathering for British men.
Yeah, they prescribe to that kind of ideal, which is, you let them know you're proud of them by supporting their, you have military idea. Well, I will support your military idea. That kind
Yeah. Now this right here is we're setting up for our next episode right here, where Trainer finds a funny little signal at Grissom Academy, and we're tipped off on that. So we'll be going there on our next mission. Just FYI, there's
Excellent.
just a little bit of housekeeping that we got to do before we get on. But that's kind of the thing where
logistics win wars.
Yep. This is why Trainer is such a fantastic character and not overblown. I mean, she's naive, she's overwhelmed, she's kind of like into everything that's going on, but she's good at what she does.
She's good at her job. She doesn't have to. Yeah,
and unlike with Kelly, who is a combination personal secretary and spy, Trainer is a communications specialist, which means that she's doing cryptography, which means that she is doing intelligence analysis, which means that she is distributing information the Normandy gathers to hack it into other commands. So that's all important. But what's more important here is that we just unleashed Edie in a sexy robot body onto the ship.
And now we have to talk to Joker.
And now we gotta talk to Joker.
Of course we have to talk to Joker. Joker.
The fact that Edie actually has her remote body, her mobile platform manipulating the Normandy's controls, even though she doesn't need to, is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it shows that concerted effort on her part of, she wants to be part of the crew. She doesn't want to be just the ship's computer. She wants to, she has a desire to interact with people, and this is a way to do it.
Well, you see things differently from a bipedal platform, and so you get a different perspective, and so you kind of learn things and see things that you wouldn't otherwise see. She knows that Jeff is a absolute, complete, and utter pervert, but she hasn't experienced that perversion until now.
Look, Joker, I just want some of that cake, okay?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm talking about the cake you're baking, not the cake of Edie.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I have seen Edie videos.
So much.
And frankly, I am...
Appalled. Appalled
Yes.
by the internet and the way that it sexualizes everything and not the Krogan.
Y'all are downright horrendous. Joker's like, please don't steal my girlfriend. Well, your girlfriend, she just got here, buddy.
But she has...
Improves his morale. Stands at attention.
Well, hey, look,
as well as Joker can stand.
There's no accounting for taste, and Edie likes Joker. It is what it is. You can't, you can't be too upset about it.
It's one of those things right here where we have the option to influence Edie's independent MO now that she can interact with the world on a human scale.
Exactly.
And because, again, I take this as the role of a therapist trying to help someone who's, like, came into the world crashing as a fully realized adult, that, yeah, you're going to have to explore and figure things out for yourself. And yeah, there are context clues that you got to figure out and advice that you got to seek. But ultimately, you're your own person.
Yes.
So I do not drop the hammer on Edie ever, and I've been really reluctant to ever explore that option. But we'll see more of that, though, when we continue our journey across Mass Effect 3. So, until then, be sure to hit the likes and subscribes. Tune in every Monday. And we'll see you next time. Later.
Deuces.